This is the Nations Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. I don't think there's ever been a time period where not only we have lived among such stupid people, but such people that are so easily manipulated that they actually believe these stories that continually come out on the news. The thing with this channel, I want to make as clear as day as I have over the years, is that the news is not to inform, it's to manufacture. It is to condition you. It is a psychosis. Now, people fall into this trap because they turn it on. They think that there's just a bunch of people who are getting fed these natural stories and they're reporting on it because they want to inform you about it. There's no perfect example of how fake the news is than all this stuff that's going on with Doge. In fact, you'll see some of the people who comment who are so deep in the psychosis, they go, well, I can see you're anti-Trump. You know, you're an anti-Trumper over here. You're criticizing Doge and all the great things that they're doing because they can't even get past the fact that these people are not elected. They are selected. They are put in power. It's an illusion. This is what the Matrix is, and these people are living inside of it. So right now, all the stuff you're seeing with Doge, it has hit such a level of insanity. The stuff that they're feeding Republicans, the fact that they're actually, number one, not questioning why all of a sudden the government would be giving them all of this information about where their tax money goes. It's never happened before. People have been asking for audits for decades, for centuries, to find out where their tax money actually goes, right? Now, conveniently, we're going to believe that two people who were once Democrat, who are now Republican, one of which who was there in 2016 and didn't provide any of this information, suddenly care so much about us that they want to tell us all this waste that the government's responsible for with the, in regards to where our money goes, where our tax money goes, right? They can't see past it and say, why are they telling me this? Why all of a sudden are they telling me this? And what's the solution for all of this? Because they don't understand how this game actually works. So they think that these people, Trump and Musk, are revealing this stuff to them because they care about all of us and they care about the national debt and all this stuff. People can't even get past the psychosis of the national debt, right? They hear about, oh man, have you heard? We're $33 trillion in debt, right? Whatever the number they decided is that year. And everyone just goes, wow, we're in so much debt. Well, are you personally in debt? Have you, are your finances in order? I mean, do you have $500,000 in a credit? Probably not, right? You're not in debt. The government is in debt to other governments, right? China owns the majority of the United States of America. These are topics I've covered over the years, but people just hear that and they're like, we got to get out of debt. We're in national debt. They don't even know what it means because they're in such a psychosis, right? So the two sides of the coin, this is a perfect example with the left-right, right? The stuff we're seeing with Doge, where they're telling you that people who have been dead for 200 years, we're supposed to believe are still collecting Social Security in their bank account, right? As if the government wouldn't shut it off as soon as these people die. Now, if you've lost a loved one before, or you've been an executor on a loved one before, which means, if you're ahead of the will or in charge of the will, and say your mother dies, right? Guess what? You can't go feasting in mom's bank account after, if you go through the proper protocol of having a death certificate and a funeral. The government finds out that your mom's dead. Okay? The government shuts off that Social Security, just like they would freeze the bank account. That's normally what occurs. But they're convincing people out there right now, and they're believing it because they're in such a hysteria, such a state of mind control, that they actually think that the government's doing this to be their friend and telling them that 200-year-old people are still collecting Social Security that's coming out of their tax money, right? On the flip side, to show you how bad the psychosis is, the Democrats are angry that this stuff is being revealed, right? So it shows you the two mindsets. The fact that the conservatives believe this, they're not suspicious about why they're telling them all this. They're not suspicious about the truth, if any of this stuff is actually truthful, why it's all of a sudden coming out, and how Elon Musk is the face of it. It's the same guy who's trying to get a neural link inside of people's bodies, right? Then the other side sitting there, and they're defending the government. These people who pay their taxes, these Democrats, are on the government side, saying these 200-year-old people who are dead should be getting our tax money. It shows you how deep the psychosis is, how they've divided the people so much that they'll stand there and defend the government pissing away our tax money on things which, again, they're not really pissing it away on. They're doing this to gaslight and work people into hysteria. But even hypothetically, if these stories were true, it shows you, it's a perfect example of how deep the psychosis goes. One side's defending because they're being told that the Democrats are the ones responsible for the wasteful spending. And then the other side, of course, believes every one of these tall tales that gets released to them. And they haven't for 1 second thought about what the solution is, right? And of course, the solution, again, is AI governance. They don't know what it means because they don't understand what AI is. It's literally giving up total control of everything digitally to artificial intelligence, right? Do you think AI is your friend? Do you think it doesn't see this or doesn't see that? It's just neutral. It's just a computer. Are you ready for tax season when you actually will be forced to pay your taxes? There's a lot of people that don't pay their taxes, and they don't even know that it's actually not illegal not to pay your taxes. It's just illegal, they claim, not to file your taxes, right? This is a system of total control. So while they hear these stories about how they're going to audit the IRS, they think for a second that all of a sudden they're not going to pay taxes. In the future, they're going to pay less taxes. Well, yeah, when you make less money because all the jobs are removed by AI, guess what eventually happens? There's a universal basic income. And who is one of the people who promotes it the most out in the public? Well, Elon Musk does. And he says there's not going to be a choice as we move forward with AI. We're going to need universal basic income. But what people don't even realize, the little control we have now is going to be gone. Like the ability to drive your car on your own somewhere. So go out into the woods for the weekend because you need to get away and you want to go camping and you want to be unseen and unbothered. Not anymore. Autonomous vehicles, right? What else will be there? Well, the IRS, they might just change the name and say the IRS is being abolished and call it something else. But now your income tax, it'll be automatically deducted from your bank account connected through AI. And all those things that you thought you had as deductions and everything, you won't be able to lie about that and say that you spent $500 on gas there and $1,000 on a computer for your business expenses, all this other crap. Then again, it's part of the psychosis of getting people to think that they're actually winning when they're paying their taxes illegally, right? Because it's an illegal process. When they're paying their taxes, to think, hey, you know what? I'm going to deduct my car. I'm going to deduct this, right? That's been part of the psychosis for a while, to make you feel like you're getting something back. But eventually that's going to be over. And even that little minimal amount they give you back, you won't be getting, because they'll be able to track and monitor every little expense because everything will be digital. So I have to show you potentially two of the most ridiculous stories I've ever seen, right? So Elon Musk is out there, and this is what the alt-right media is doing, what they've been built to do, right? Charlie Kirk, I mean, just, the face of a punching bag. I mean, one of the most, I don't understand how anyone can listen to these people, but again, if you follow the formula of the alt-right media, like the Steven Crowders, the Charlie Kirks, they put these kids, these guys, at college campuses where it's all the lib people talking about crazy, insane crap about pronouns, and then they talk and embarrass them, and it makes people like them and then get sucked into them and follow them, thinking that your vote counts, that the left and the right, two separate teams fighting among each other, right? All by design. The alt-right is just as responsible as the insane liberal media. So they're posting things like the U.S. federal budget deficit, right? And the Doge clock. So you could see how much a projected Doge savings now near $10 billion. That's over $700 per American taxpayer. Shove it up your rear, buddy. We're saving $700, right? How about people just stop paying it? Yeah? How about they prove the fact that federal taxes are even legal in the first place when they're not, right? How about you start telling people, hey, you don't have to pay your actual taxes. Billionaires don't pay their taxes. How many times do we hear about them not paying their taxes, right? Got to file, don't got to pay. Not illegal, okay? So they're bragging about this, how the debt's going down. Then you get this one, right? Breaking. President Trump's deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, just announced that Doge is going to create an algorithm to detect and prevent fraud at the IRS, right? Algorithm. Computer algorithm. Artificial intelligence to detect and prevent fraud at the IRS. Do you think that the algorithm's really to protect us from the IRS? You think it's really there to prevent fraud at the IRS? It's to prevent fraud with you. It's to monitor and track you. They're getting you used to these algorithms now replacing humans, right? What we're talking about is at the programmatic level being able to analyze and assess for signs and symptoms of fraud, right? Elon Musk, breaking news, just announced Doge will launch an investigation into federal employees with unusually high net worths despite modest salaries. Do you support this? Yes or no? Well, of course, everybody on earth should support this. Now, we know somehow because the Democrats are in such a psychosis that they would say, no, we don't need to do that to them. Let's give them everybody's money and let them have trillions of dollars of wealth, even though they make $100,000 a year. So they're working you, right? They're working these people with basic things that they know are going to get people excited. Yes, let's audit Nancy Pelosi. Let's audit these people like Barry Obama Sortoro. He's got multiple homes. He was just a president. They tell us the president makes $300,000 a year. Okay, with the expenses that things are now, $300,000 a year wouldn't even be enough to buy a normal home somewhere, let alone multiple homes, right? So yeah, people should be suspicious. So playing into people with that, playing into people with the IRS. In between posts, of course, putting up pictures of Saturn on his Instagram account, right? Promoting his AI grok, saying, look, it's Saturn. Isn't that incredible? Because, of course, they worship Saturn. Do they not? They all do. They have an obsession. But these people don't notice any of that because they're too busy looking at tweets like this. Department of Homeland Security preparing to fire hundreds of senior leaders this week. A blessing from the Lord, right? So let's fire all these humans and replace them with computers because you don't realize you're in a psychosis where everyone in the government has been acting a certain way to make you hate them, to sabotage the infrastructure, because all the guys at Homeland Security, trust me, they're not worried about their jobs. They're not worrying about being replaced because that's what the plan has been. They'll be getting money pumped into their bank accounts and you'll never know about it because Doge will never tell you about it. And you'll just assume, yeah, we got rid of all these crazy liberals in the CIA, in Homeland Security. And then you'll just have a new CIA, which will be all through artificial intelligence and a new Homeland Security. But you'll be thrilled, right? Because then you don't have to worry about them prosecuting your favorite president who isn't even on your side because they're all working together doing exactly this. Now, here are the two clips I'm going to play for you. This is on the news, okay? So try not to laugh, but I mean, it's incredible. They're going to show you how dead people between the ages of 100 and 360, you're supposed to believe this, by the way. This isn't The Onion. You're supposed to believe this. And somehow, half of our population believes this. And I'm sure you've come across these people who obviously are stuck in the left-right. I know all of you are. I am, right? We all are. And when you tell them this, they don't want to hear it because the psychosis is so real. So all it takes is the government to make up these stories that are so absurd to get them even more sucked in. And they won't believe it. They'll be like, can you believe people are making 360-year-old people are still getting Social Security? If you believe this, you are a complete sucker. And if you believe what they're telling you, when they don't ever have to tell you this stuff about your tax money, then you're a sucker. Because guess what? Your tax money, which gets laundered, goes to building some of the stuff you're about to see in this clip, because they're going to show you a elevator underground where supposedly it looks like a time warp. It's an underground mine. And that's where the data centers are now, right? Papers going underground. Why underground? Well, because none of it needs to make sense. It's just supposed to aggravate you, right? Don't question when you see the clip why there's underground mines like this that look like underground highways. That's what people really should be saying. But they're going to give you an inside look at these underground mines and tell you that this is the type of technology that they're doing, right? They're going down elevators, carrying documents in a box. We got to get rid of paper. What are they doing? This process is too long. It's taking forever, right? Don't just think once for yourself, do we even need this process? And why are we giving the government all this information about ourselves, right? They're supposed to be working for us, yet they have every piece of data possible on us. We have to tell them every single thing we do. We have to tell them when we piss, tell them when we spit, right? Don't think like that. Just get angry because, man, look how they're wasting our tax money. Their data centers are underground. They're going down elevator shafts. We need to get digital immediately. This is how easy it is, like I've said a million times, to work these people into the solution they want, which is AI governance. Look at this stuff that's airing on Fox.
Waste. Well, the numbers are just incredible. Liz Peek, let's get into it. Elon Musk posted this graphic on X showing how many people in what age group there are accepting these Social Security checks. It's just pretty incredible that you see ages 110 to 119, 3.6 million. if you're 120 to 129, 3.5 million. I mean, last time I checked, Liz, there was no one in America that's 140 years old.
But if there is someone 140 years old, Maria, they sure deserve Social Security payments, and I'm all for it. Look, there are two astonishing things here. Number one, that this sloppiness and the fraud and waste has gone on for so long. Obviously, this is not something that happened overnight. It is incredible to me that people working in our government have had such laziness, such inertia, that they have never even bothered to look at these numbers that apparently are pretty easy to find. Number two, what's really incredible is that anyone is objecting to this because, as Caroline Levitt pointed out, this isn't just about hauling in all those illegal and fraudulent and wasteful payments. It is about making sure that if you're 60 years old, you're going to get Social Security payments from a healthy institution for the next many years. So how can anyone object to this? I have no idea.
Well, I think, Cheryl, the Democrats are objecting to it because they're embarrassed. They've been supposedly stewards of our economy and stewards of our government for how many years, depending on who you're talking about. And this has been happening on their watch.
The agency's been asleep at the wheel. And I think that is where I'm so glad you brought this up, because it's the system. You know, the why did this happen? And actually, Elon Musk did post about it. He said that the logic flow diagram for the Social Security system looks insane. All capital letters, he wrote, Maria. He says no other person actually knows how it works. You need to get forensic accounting. You need to get programmers. You need to get people from Doge, that team. You need to get experts on technology and algorithms and accounting systems in there. Why that has never happened in all the decades that you've had thousands of reports about Social Security fraud, about checks that just kept going to somebody's residence after they'd passed away. I mean, come on, Maria. It's just, I can't believe we're finally addressing this. Like, I'm happy.
For so many years, Chris, that's all you heard from politicians. You know, we have to get rid of fraud, abuse, and waste. And yet, what? They didn't actually go and look to see where the money was going?
This bloated bureaucracy is just so. The idea that somehow some nameless bureaucrat could do a better job than Elon Musk is absurd. And the fact that where are these directors of Social Security been? This is the first thing you check in your first day. Are we paying anybody we shouldn't be? It's millions and millions of dollars. They keep talking about the viability of Social Security. That's the first thing you should have done instead of talking about raising taxes and cutting benefits. This should have been number one. So, I mean, these people should be ashamed of themselves.
And, of course, right now, we've got the debate over how to cut, you know, to come up with offsets to actually afford President Trump's agenda, being money for the border, money for defense. And, you know, they're talking about cutting into mandatory spending. OK, instead of just going back and looking at where the money is, which is what Elon Musk and Doge are doing from the beginning, they're talking about cutting into mandatory spending. It's just outrageous.
Doge and Elon Musk have just exposed a decades-old underground mine. You're looking at it. It's in Boyers, Pennsylvania, and seemingly it's in the middle of nowhere. But it's where the United States federal government stores and processes retirement applications. Here's how Elon Musk described it.
There's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's like 1,000 people that work on this.
Wow. Now, a group of anonymous employees told the Butler Eagle from the Office of Personnel Management that they don't have an elevator. But nonetheless, look at these pictures. This is stunning. All of the paperwork stored right here. It looks like a time warp. And you can see inside this facility, these massive columns of limestone that's holding it all up. Millions of paper files are stored right here. And according to Doge, every month, the facility takes about 10,000 applications for retirements and then sorts through them entirely by hand. Now, it's unbelievable that the government of the world's foremost superpower processes retirement applications 230 feet underground. There's one person who is not surprised by it, and he's sitting in the middle of our couch, and his name is Jason Chaffetz.
I got to tell you, there are a lot of storage facilities like this, and corporate America uses them all the time. But the idea that you have to do this by hand, that it's not automated, is ridiculous. Right. Elon Musk is 110% right. But if you want a secure facility that is temperature controlled, impervious to people getting in, a lot of caves are used throughout the country for corporate America. But this is not the first. Elon Musk, welcome to the show, because we've been talking about this for a while. Do you know in the military, they actually process rank advancements and pay increases with punch cards? They literally could not, they had to keep these like 80-year-old people employed because they were the only ones that knew how to fix the machines.
So the Washington Post did a deep dive on this, Kaylee, and it's fascinating. It talks about how some of these workers are depressed because they don't have windows. I don't blame them. I would be too. They order pizza down to the It's really interesting. But here's what WAPO found. They said this: held up by all that paperwork in the mine runs as slowly now as it did in 1977. During the past 30 years, administrations have spent more than $100 million trying to automate the old-fashioned process in the mine and make it run at the speed of computers. They could not. Well, I know one man who can. Maybe it's the guy who sends rockets to space with SpaceX.
Yeah, and what's always telling is that you don't see any of the Democrats or the bureaucrats who are defending these programs. They never defend them on the merits. They never say, well, it's good that we keep all of our retirement paperwork 230 feet under the ground for these very specific reasons. Or no, it's very good that we sent $50 million of a condom shipment to wherever in the world because of these very specific reasons. Their only argument is that it is bad that Elon Musk is trying to change it for unspecified reasons. Well, that's not a very good explanation here, because if you can't defend something on the merits, then what is the point of keeping things as is? Why can Elon Musk not come in and try and update these systems, change things to make them more efficient and more efficient for the American taxpayer?
So it's some of the most laughable stuff I've ever seen. I mean, watching them with straight faces try to tell the audience out there that these stories are real is incredible. It's incredible acting, I guess, because they're not giggling too much, right? But telling you, hey, there's 360-year-old people out there that are still getting Social. Oh, yeah? Is that right? So people, where's the money? Is it just accumulated in their bank accounts? This 360-year-old person, which was, I guess would put him back in what? The 1700s, has been collecting Social Security for that long? Well, if somebody's gone in there and taken the money out of their great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandma's bank account, wouldn't that technically be fraud or illegal? You want to arrest those people? Or how about the fact that is the money just sitting there in the account? Because usually when somebody dies, the bank knows because of this thing you forced most people to get called the Social Security number, which you pretty much can't even open up a bank account without, right? So they want to maybe take the money back and give it back into the government, back to the, oh, okay. No, the whole purpose of the story isn't to make sense of any of it. The purpose of the story is to piss you off, because the more pissed off you get, then the next day when Elon Musk says, we're getting rid of this department, you cheer. We're getting rid of that one. The next thing you know, you got T2s running the government, and you won't even know what's going on because you'll say, that's ridiculous. Well, the Tesla bots are cool, right? Getting you conditioned with that while they're doing this, right? Get a Tesla bot, you can babysit your kids, get this inside your home, right? Get a Neuralink. Oh, right, and we're going to eliminate human beings and their jobs. And people go, well, I want them out because they're Democrat. And Democrats go, well, I want them out because they're MAGA. Because these suckers continue to fall into the left-right paradigm. AI governance is the name of the game. It's what they've been trying to build out for decades now, by conditioning you with technology to the point where you're dependent on it in your life. So dependent on it that even when you're scared at first of something like AI, you're suddenly getting conditioned, like I've been talking about, and you're just thinking that a Google search is an AI overview. Oh, the AI is just gathering all the information, giving you the best possible answer. And you go, oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay. This is a control system. And the thing they want to control is you, up to the point of every single breath that you take. The Fitbit, all this tech, this wearable tech will be under your skin. They've been conditioning you into putting all this data into your tech and trusting your tech and not caring about how your tech is monitoring your sleep at night and thinking that this is normal so you can become the perfect human being, right? You could sleep perfect, you could age less. I mean, this is a very easy thing to figure out if you pull yourself out of the psychosis. But most people won't. And I'm sure you hear people in your day-to-day life who are talking about this. Can you believe what they're doing at the the USAID thing, or whatever they're calling it? The thing I just covered a couple weeks ago. I mean, to me, it's still one of the most laughable things. You can look at these two stories here with the cave and the documents and how 500-year-old people are collecting Social Security. You could just see them sitting in a room going, we're gonna get a white wall. We'll bring like Conan O'Brien in. Let's get some comedians in here who go to the Bilderberg meetings anyway. I mean, Conan O'Brien's at Bohemian Grove. These celebrities are, right? So why not bring them in and go like, what's the most ridiculous thing that we could say? Because remember, if we put it on the news, they're going to believe it automatically. So let's make the most ridiculous things up because they'll automatically believe it, and then we'll get a good laugh out of it. And somebody goes, Sesame Street in Iraq. All right, put a little mustache and a little towel on Ernie and Bert and blast it out. And what did they do? They did that. And how many people have you heard repeat that and say, can you believe this? I might not pay my taxes. Can you believe this stuff? This is what the Democrats have been doing with our tax money, as if it's not the Dems and the Republicans working together, right? As if every single Democrat in the Senate and the House is I'm sending it to Iraq and for Sesame Street there and trans parades in Ireland, right? As if it's not them together. They're writing and fabricating these stories so that you accept what they're doing right now, which is tearing the whole thing down. And by tearing it all down, they get ready to build it up, but they need your compliance. They need you to say, I'm on board. I'm glad we found out how corrupt they are. They need to be held accountable. Well, how can we hold them accountable? Well, with AI. With AI, they can't sneak this around. Well, everything will be electronic. That's all people hear. Well, everything's electronic anyway. Sure. We'll be able to watch everything. And we'll have an algorithm that tracks and monitors them. And little by little, next thing you know, it's the algorithm that's tracking you little by little. When the government goes, we're going to have carbon laws, and you go, I'm not on board with that crap. I don't believe in climate change. And they go, well, you have a carbon footprint now. And you go, no, I don't. And they go, yeah, you do. Because every time you use your credit card, your debit card, it's going to track your carbon footprint. So when we tell you it's a 50, we have it in accumulations of 100, right? You buy this certain food, you buy meat, it's 50 tax. Right? Then you only have 50 left allotted for the month. 25 for driving your car. Then you get 25 more for electricity. Guess what? You won't be flushed. Your toilet will be showering. People go, oh, that'll never end up happening. Oh, no, that's exactly what's happening if you pay attention to the real stories and the real things that they're discussing via Agenda 2030 and everything else at the United Nations and the World Economic Forum. Not the stuff that everyone else is caught in. Like we're in the movie Ladybugs. Can boys play on the girls' soccer team? That's ridiculous. Yeah, it is ridiculous. But it's even more ridiculous that you're letting them work you into a frenzy over all this stuff that really most people don't really see going on in their town. But the reality of the matter is the only reason that people are a certain way and men want to dress as women is because of the government themselves and the propaganda and how they put characters in movies and shows and brainwash people into insanity. So, in other words, they should be held accountable for all of the horror. Republicans, Democrats, all of them for doing it. But nobody could see past that stuff, right? So then they don't see that the AI governance being put in place isn't to monitor the spending of the government. It's to monitor you. You ain't going to be able to even joke about cheating on your taxes anymore, right? It's always been the flaw in the system, that there's flaws, there's ways to navigate their system. As many people out there still go, oh man, they got control of this stuff. But we still have the human element. And the human element, if you think, just like this channel, right? How many people do you know who have been thrown off of YouTube? Probably it'll go close to 100, right? Now we know there's idiots that come over, they're like, how is this guy still here? He must be a shill, right? Well, if you're persistent and you say, good, get rid of me. I'll be right back. Oh, look, I got 50 channels over here. I got 50 channels over there. That's the human element. You could still outsmart them. You can out-scam them because they're trying to scam you. And you could navigate inside of their system if you're willing to do it instead of giving up and waving a white flag. But most people out there already think that, oh, they've got total control anyway, might as well give it over to AI. That's legitimate total control. That's no more anything private. No more burner phones. No more nothing. You could think of it right now, and with AI attached to it, it's gone. because they're going to be watching and monitoring. And yeah, they do already listen. They do already monitor. But again, the human element to everything still gives us freedom to manipulate them back and maneuver around them. So with AI governance, it's endgame. It's over. And all you need to tell these people out there who are okay with this stuff is just, okay, we don't know what's going to happen in 4 years, because we know Claus and all these guys have talked about how there won't even be elections anymore, right? Everything will be through AI. But let's just say in 4 years that we have this AI governance in place, the IRS is gone, which is fine. I mean, nobody's going to miss the IRS, but look, all of these agencies, Homeland Security, CIA, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, who's running the AI? Well, Elon Musk is, right? Okay. Well, in 4 years, what if I told you that Michael Obama was running it? Would you say, oh, that could be a problem because they could crank the AI this way? And then all of a sudden, everything you say online that's anti-trans, well, it'll be censored. Well, you'll go to jail, like in countries like Australia, where they'll throw you in prison for 10 years for hate speech, right? It's a computer system, monitoring, tracking, so they can turn it whichever way they want at whatever time. But once it's in place, it's over. It's over. It's over for the left and it's over for the right. But as long as they fight each other, as long as they, just continue to go down one another's necks over this stuff, then they're going to get closer to accomplishing this. And if nobody pays attention, which they're not, no one's going to even see what it is or know that it's in place until it's too late. And that's why Trump's the perfect guy to bring it in. On day one, he said $500 billion for AI infrastructure. And not one conservative blinked because they just said, And what did he say at the same time? He talked about some type of gene editing to cure cancer, right? And they heard that a little bit and they said, I don't know about that. Why is he talking about that? Completely missed the whole AI governance thing. Because when they see the World Economic Forum, like I tell you, they see the United Nations, they immediately get sucked into some specific topic that the alt-right media is pushing on them, which is usually the stuff with you're going to eat bugs. Oh, bugs are nutritious, right? And they go, they're going to try to get us to eat bugs. Yeah, okay, we all agree. That's insane. It's ridiculous. But if you don't pay attention to how this New World Order governance is going to look, it's going to be in front of you in a blink. And it already is because no one's paying attention to what it is, and it's AI governance. So that's what's going on in the news. Apparently, Helen Keller is collecting Social Security. I mean, I don't know. Is Julius Caesar also collecting? I mean, the stuff that they could tell you tomorrow, these people will believe. And that's why I truly believe they sit in a room with comedians, because again, they're all in on it. Whether you think the comedian's funny or not, they're all in on it. I've covered this over the years with the people that attend Bohemian Grove, etc. They're all a part of it, right? So then bring them in. Let's make up those ridiculous crap because they know 100%, if they put it on the news, that these people will believe it. And you'll have one side who defends it and the other side who's angry about it. And the seesaw goes back and forth, right? Then when the Democrats find out that Donald Trump put in, he spent $50 million to build a casino or $1 billion, we'll put some story on NBC about it. And then they'll say, well, we want Trump audited too. And we want to audit that spending in the government. Sure. And put in more restrictions with AI, more human error, boom. AI governance in your face, down your throat. That's how it works. It's a psychosis. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.